everybody, how are you all doing? It's me, Mr. Flynn, and we're back with Phoenix Sim Sport live with the F2 action for round number 2 here at the lovely circuit of Singapore. One of my absolute all-time favourite tracks this season within the calendar for F2. But also one of my all-time favourite tracks as well in the real life of racing in F1. We've got a one-shot quali ahead of us, a sprint race of 12 laps, and then the future race 17 laps, and a bit of rain to sparkle the intentions of some awesome racecraft and crazy carnage about to unfold. And to be honest as well, which is also quite interesting and quite exciting as well, is we've got a big attendance today. 12 drivers joining us on the F2 grid, which we love to see. So we're going to get going in a few mementos. So stay tuned, grab some snacks, grab a drink, because it's going to be live action right here at Singapore with a total of 19 turns, and I believe it is 4 DRS straights, which is handy dandy, and we love to see that as well. So overtaking could be a little bit spicy and a little bit interesting. I say 4. I believe that I was added to Singapore or something with I think it was a fourth DRS zone, but I'm not too sure. Well, obviously it's not in this game mode of F1 23. I've just realised that now. So I've only got 3 DRS zones, not 4, but all a bit confusing. But we'll get over it when we get into qualifying very, very shortly. But how's everyone doing? Hope you're having a wonderful Friday evening. And if you're wondering why I probably sound a little bit different, it is because Mr. Flynn is unfortunately a little bit ill. So I'm going to try my best to keep you updated with all the content happening with drivers fighting left, right and centre. But like I say, I'm going to try my best. But if I go quiet for a few minutes, I'm just trying to recover my breath. We're going on that. So yeah. Hello Foxy, how are we doing, buddy? Welcome to the Let channel and the stream. I believe all the drivers getting ready to get going here for VOD racing. Good, you? Yeah, not too bad. Like I said, a little bit ill today, but hey ho, what can you do? What can you do? I'll try my best to keep my eyes peeled on what happens, but one shot quali, we love to see it. We'll see who will be riding on board with today, and do like a walkthrough of the track itself. I'm still getting used to commentating again, so work in progress. We're getting into the ropes of it again. Yeah, it's not great, but at the end of the day, you know, if you get sick, you get sick. It's just what happens in life, which is annoying, but not much we can do, is there? Anyways, loading into the lobby now, and give it a few seconds. Don't ready up straight away, just so it gives drivers a chance to get in the lobby, get their setups. Give it roughly about a minute, and then you can click ready up and get going. But rain, we love to see it. I love rain here at Singapore. I love it so much, so much. And there we go. The countdown has begun. In around about 20-ish seconds, we'll get underway with qualifying. One shot. Do not invalidate, because if you invalidate, you'll be starting right at the back of the pack. I say that, but with F2, it's the top 10 that switch around to do the good old switcheroo, shall we say. So we'll see what happens into qualifying right about now. And who are we on board with today? We're going to be on board with Philip? I think that's how you say it. I'm not too sure, but we're gonna go on board with them because I accidentally pressed the button because I'm great like that, you know. And of course, everybody on the wet tires, but we've got the Red Bull or MP making their way down to turns, if I remember myself, number 4, heading towards turn number 5 very, very shortly. Of course, on the exit of turn 5, DRS would be activated, but of course, as it's wet conditions here at Singapore, DRS, that rear wing, will be disabled and will not open. So it's all about your corner exits and getting the best grip and momentum, and that you can, or there you can. But never mind, Philip has completely gone straight on at turn number 7, which isn't ideal. So we're going to click the button one more time, and we're going to go on board with Mr. Maverick as they're setting a decent lap so far. Currently chilling in around about P9, but keeping it on track, keeping it out of the wall. And what isn't ideal is that we have lost our host as he has left the session, Mr. Viper Strikes, and has, I believe, retired. So that's not ideal. So they may have put it in the wall at some point, but we'll see if that we can get them back in the lobby very, very shortly. Hopefully someone can. And we are retiring. I don't know. Is it a red flag straight away? I'm not too sure what's going on, but it does look a little bit laggy in the lobby. I'm going to get confirmation in just a second to see what on earth is going on. Yeah, I believe it is a red flag. Yeah, it's a red flag. Everybody's retiring. This isn't ideal. They have all left the session, so do bear with. We're going to try to get sorted as quickly as possible, so don't go anywhere. We do apologize for this, as Bob McQueen sets a 1 minute 58.196, and that is not pole position, I'm guessing. That's what I'm guessing, which is not pole position. Well, it is pole position technically, but I believe I've had a Steam notification, and it is someone, it is Lamav inviting me to a lobby, but obviously I'm on PlayStation, so I need it via what do you call it? There we go, by PlayStation, as Viper Truck's on there. I can't get out, I'm stuck. So I'm going to hope that the thing will hurry up and skip to the next bit so I can join the lobby, or I'm going to have to restart my game quickly, chat. So, yeah, don't go anywhere. I need to restart my game, and I'll be back in just a second. Bear with, apologies for this red flag, shall we say. everybody. It's me again, Mr. Flynn. Yeah, apologies for this restart. It was due to other players that couldn't get in the lobby in time, so that's why the red flag was called. So apologies for any disruptions, but we are trying to get underway very, very quickly. So we appreciate your patience, and yeah, we'll get back into the one-shot quali. And basically, anybody who made a major a minor, broke your wing, did whatever, it gives you a second opportunity, I'd say, to get one-shot quali underway. You got another chance to put in a good lap and see how you do. I'm gonna try my best to say that name, but I have no idea. Is there any nickname I could call you? But hello, welcome to the chat, welcome to the channel. How are you doing? I'm gonna call you Sot for now, because that's like, I'd say the best I can do, because I'm not the best with names. So if there's a nickname or something I could call you down the line, feel free to let me know, and I'll go by that. But yeah, like I said, welcome on in. Hope you're well, and I don't know if you're racing or if you're just chilling by or stopping by, but we've got some awesome racing action packed for today. This is mainly the most this is only round 2, but this is mainly the most drivers we've had in the lobby so far. So yeah, we've got a lot of awesome racing action ahead of us tonight, this evening if you want to call it as well. We appreciate all the patience. We'll be getting on underway very, very shortly. There we go. Everyone is going to be readying up now. Fingers crossed. There we go. There it is. Green flag. We've got 20-ish seconds till we get into the lobby once again to start off one-shot quali in the torrential downfall of pouring rain, as we love it here at Singapore. And then we'll see who's going to be on pole position for the start of the sprint. But I believe it does revert. So we'll see what happens. Lovely stuff. I'm excited. I cannot wait. But yes, any questions or any answers you want to ask me, feel free to fire away, and I'll try my best to give you the best answer that I can do, shall I say. I do try my best when I can. Yeah. As always, do not ready up straight away. Give the drivers a few seconds to a minute just to get their setups on. But someone has already pressed ready up, so that's not optimal. But it happens. It's not the end of the world. But we've got around about 20 seconds till we get going here and see what a very wet Singapore can bring us tonight. So, without further ado, for the second time now, hopefully no more red flags to get in the way, we're going to see who we are riding on board with, and it's going to be not GG Land, it's going to be Max, and he's making his way around turn number 19, making his way across the start and finish now, down to turn number 1. Do they keep it nice and tidy and within track limits? They go way too deep, still keeping their lap valid, but that has put them down in the position of P number 10, but now jumps onto P number 9, so not too bad. So finding a little bit of time and momentum, making their way outward turn number 4, now out turn number 5, down to turn number 7. A bit of a squiggly, you could say scary exit there, but on the run down to turn number 7 and 8, approaching us right about now. You want to try and take as much as you can on the left hand side and not go wide like Max has done there. That would have lost him a little bit of time there, but drivers do seem to be struggling in as well. Max trying to make turn number 8, that tricky right-hander, but just not having the grip to do so. So they are now down in P number 12. As we look at the top three, to choose takes P number 1, Brisbane P2, and Wobby down in P number 3, and GG with a comfortable P number 5 is suffocating, makes his way into the top 4. So it's all happening, it's all going on now into the tricky hairpin here at Singapore. And how does Max get on here at turns number 13? Not too bad. Chilling in P11. Makes their way up the grid order just a little bit. But obviously, as it's wet as well, DRS does not get activated. So it's all about momentum, exit speed. But they go to the runoff. So the way I was looking at that, they could have made that corner. But in all honesty, they're driving the car. They're in charge. They want to take to the runoff, but they would have made the corner. But hey ho, it happens. Now, down to turn number 16 and 17. Not too late on the brakes, quite early on the brakes, really. Takes the apex nicely there as we get the fastest lap of a 1 minute 57.717. And then Brisbane a 157.752. The top two, very, very close. And then Bob McQueen a 1 minute 58.149. And then just two more drivers to cross the line very, very shortly. But I don't know, their laps are valid, but they just haven't crossed the line yet. But a very close grid from P number 3 roundabout down to, I believe it was P number 4 or 5, but not looking too bad. But Max, P number 12, they won't be happy with that, but we have got a sprint race to get underway with. So in all honesty, they'll be okay to hopefully get within the points. If you remember, the top 8 score the points within the sprint race. But look at the top 2, separated by 35 thousandths of a second. That's absolutely insane. But like I said, Bob McQueen in that P3, taking the final podium step of a 1 minute 58.149. But like I say, it's very, very close between the top 3 down to top 5, you could say. So they're all within the 58s, and you've got two drivers within the 59s. That's Viper Strikes down in P6, James Mustang in P number 7, Maverick in P number 8, and then you have P number 9, and then number 10, etc. Lovely stuff. That's what we love to see here at Phoenix. But with the top 2 that close, turn number 1 could be very intense, but also very, very tricky, because I believe it's P number 2 that gets the advantage because they have the inside, I believe it is, for the first corner, shall we say. So if they get a good start, they could make a lunge into turn 1 and take the lead into turn 1, 2 or 3, whatever you want to call it. But rain once again, so drivers will not get that drag reduction system. And of course, these F2 cars don't have any ERS battery either. So like I said in qualifying, it's just going to be mainly on corner exits and getting the tow from the drivers. But as we look to the 5 red lights here at Singapore for round number 2 for the sprint, it's lights out and away we go. It's a very even start for the top 2. But as they make their way down to turn number 1, oh, saying that, big collision, big spin around, I believe that is Mr. Maverick making his way down to P number 14, and it's going to be big damage for some of the drivers who were involved in that. That was a very, I'd say, chaotic turn 1, 2 and 3, but Mav coming out worse, but some other drivers as well. I'm not too sure who, but someone else has been punted and spun round, and that is Viper being punted round, and I believe it's Nota as well now being pumped around. Those two down in P13 and P14. Definitely not an ideal start to the sprint for them, but Sprison makes their way up into P5. Someone up and move in the lunge, but someone having a bit of a love tap as well, so it's not a great start for some of these drivers. It's punting literally left, right and centre. Mav making up a few positions up into P9. Some drivers off into the runoff, and I believe that is going to be Jack's Games and MP, that's now done in P number 14, so that's not ideal whatsoever. More yellow flags waving left, right and centre. Drivers, like I keep saying, just struggling in these conditions as we see a lead sort of about to change. That's suffocating, about to go up the inside actually and takes the lead out of turn number 13, now down to turn number 14, but they are going to be side by side. But who's going to be later on the brakes? It's going to be Suffocating trying to go around the outside, and there is no contact. Suffocating, the new net leader of this race, only on lap number 1. Can he run away now and try and build momentum and build a gap? Tyre wear as well at Singapore, a very high deg circuit, so if they get a move on a little bit earlier, then they won't be under too much pressure, because everyone will be struggling on tyres, because within the sprint race, as we all know, you don't have to box. Robin McQueen makes his way up into P2, James Mustang into P3 as well. Brisen makes his way back up into P5, but a very defenseless GG Land going on in defence, trying to hold Brisen up maybe, trying to go around the outside, but GG doing what he can, and Brisen actually loses out of position there, but gets it back once again. But P5 and P6 really going at it, head in tow, as we make our way down to turn number 5, and late on the brakes goes Brisen up into P5 and will secure that position for now. Big gap wise, anywhere else to choose, not on the gearbox, but not far off the gearbox either, so we're going to go on board with them. And not late on the brakes, obviously, because there's a car in front of them, so they can't do much, of course. But they're going to look to the inside potentially, and they are for P6. Has the next, I wouldn't say has the next inside corner, but gets to be done into P6 to choose with a lovely move as we make our way out turn number 10, not 10, number 9 towards number 10, actually, to the tricky hairpin section. But that was a lovely move there by Tashus. As P number 7, they're going way too deep on the brakes, and that could help out Philip, who's down in P8. He's around about 1.6 now away from P7, but if they keep it clean, keep it together, going to make up a few positions here. I say a few, maybe one position, but hey, one position is better than nothing at the end of the day. Right, what's going on at the top of the field? P1 and 2 running away. 1.4 is the gap as Maverick makes his way up into P number 8 as more yellow flags wave around left, right and centre. And that's Philip, I believe, once again off into the runoff section as he was previously in qualifying at turn number 14. Hopefully they get out of there very, very shortly. But now we could see a swap for the lead change as we see Robin McQueen on 1 minute 59 and looking to the inside at turn number 1, Suffocating, trying to keep this one within gasp and within reach, and does so. Someone has been DSQ'd, which isn't ideal, but it happens. The top 2 still going at it behind as well. GG Land trying to get involved in the action with, I believe it's James Mustang for that final podium position. So much happening on lap number 3 out of number 12. GG, as we look back down to the field, is going to try and go for this move side by side with James later on the brakes and gets the move done for P3 just before turn number 7. As we make our way into turn number 8 now. James was thinking, looking for an opportunity up the inside there, but just wasn't close enough. Now Brisen getting involved with the action. Now at turn number 9 towards turn number 10. He's thinking about it, but he's not close enough. More yellow flags once again, and that's Jack's Games down in P number 13, heading to the runoff. I believe that was at turn number 14. Not ideal, but it happens. These are very tricky conditions, so drivers will be struggling quite a bit. Top 2, still the same order on lap number 3, but it could change drastically. But it all depends on who gets the better exit. Obviously, because the drag reduction system is offline. As we see Brisen going side by side with James Mustang, trying to snatch away P number 4. He does, late on the brakes, and they get the move done just before turn number 16 and 17. More yellow flags waving left, right and centre. I'm not too sure what they were for, but you know what this game's like. F1 23 could be an interesting one. So yeah, anyways then, Robin McQueen on the gearbox, slightly on Suffocating, down into turns number 1, 2 and 3. but not able to go anywhere just yet. But if Robin McQueen gets a very decent exit here, they could find themselves into P1 down at turn number 7 as they get a lovely slip and toe. But GG Land now really starting to get momentum, build confidence in this wet conditions, and could as well be in the mix for the fight for P number 1. Back on board with Robin McQueen though, getting that toe, but just isn't close enough and isn't able to go anywhere for the move. If Suffocating keeps this up, tyres may just wear a little bit as Webby is driving and chilling in that dirty air, which you don't really want to be doing, because that's going to put more stress on those wet tyres, especially as well in these tricky conditions. I'm surprised that no one has decided to smack it into a wall yet, shall we say, because it's so difficult to lose it around Singapore. But everyone keeping it on the wall, and I say that, and I believe it wasn't possible for Jack Games down at the hairpin, so probably gave him a commentator's curse, and he's got no front wing, about to be lapped very, very shortly, so hopefully he doesn't get within the way of the leaders as we see a swap for P7 and P8 down at the hairpin of turn number 13. Mr. Mav himself makes his way up into P7, and I will set eyes to hopefully maybe close down 11.4 gap. Maybe it depends. There could be battles ahead, as we see battles saying that, and that's Juice and James Mustang going at it. James Mustang is going backwards now instead of forwards, which isn't optimal. It isn't ideal, but it happens. He's probably struggling for pace here at Singapore, which isn't surprising. But now the top 3 all within a second roughly. It's just getting intense, and we're only on lap number 5 out of number 12, so lots of things are about to happen here as Jack Games gets another 3-second time penalty and another one for multiple warnings. So if you have a quick look at penalties, he's on 9 seconds already, so that's definitely not ideal, and that's definitely not what you would like or want really, as Max as well down in P10. It makes its way into the pit lane, probably for some repairable damage, as Robin McQueen looking to the outside here of Suffocating, as I pressed the wrong button there. GG's from myself there. Does go off track. Just back off a little bit to give Suffocating a sniff, and saying that, Bob McQueen up into P number 1, and GG Land as well, trying to look around the outside. Suffocating trying to do his best to defend, and there is contact between GG Land and Brisen, both in the wall, you could say, and that promotes to Juice up into P3, and James back in the fight to try and take away P4 from GG if he has potential damage. I wouldn't be surprised if Brisen as well got damage from that, because he was the victim, I believe, who did go in the wall. But if they haven't got damage, that right there is 110% a miracle worker, and this is really going to be helping Mav out as well, because the gap is 11.2, but he does go very wide, and yeah, that definitely wasn't ideal. But that might have been because he was trying to avoid Jack's Games, who went a little bit deep into the hairpin of turn number 13. Rob McQueen, your new race leader. The gap already 1.1 seconds. Rob McQueen, for some whatever reason, is absolutely rapid and crazy in these conditions. And he's just another human being in another level. Like, he is absolutely insane when it comes to F2 cars. Probably the best of the grid. And then second best on the grid is Suffocating, who's struggling to keep the same momentum and pace as Bob McQueen right now. That gap extending by 1/10 each corner. 2/10 now each corner. Tyres probably starting to go off as James Mustangs. We see a move all between these two. Bit of a switcheroo potentially by Brisen up into P5. James trying to give it his all, but just struggling for grip and traction, and Brisen getting the better hand, probably staying on the cleaner part of the track. Brisen up into P5, James unfortunately down to P6 as we see someone else make their way into the pit lane, and that is Chin, currently in P9, but Yeah, a bit of a delayed stop there. Not sure what happened there. More drivers into pit lane. It's Max once again going for a front wing change. And then P11 having a race of their own, really. And then we could say not all, I think that's how you say it. Dan and P12 in a race of their own. You could say in a league of their own as well. GG. Right on the gearbox here of Tachus. Are they looking to potentially make a move for that final podium position? Not close enough yet to get the move done, but if they can just get that exit just a little bit better, they could find themselves in P number 3. James trying his best to get involved with the action, but just can't get the exit or the momentum. But if these two start fighting hard, James 1.9 away from Brizzen 1.5 away. If the top 3 and 4 start fighting, that could bring James and also Brizzen into the fight. They're not that far away, if you think about it that way. See what happens. Outward turn number 3, down to turn 4, and then turn 5 very, very shortly. GG was looking for an inside move there, but just wasn't close enough, and you could see getting a bit squirmish out of turn number 5. Now on the run down through 6 and 7. He's around about 3/10 away from snatching that final podium position away from Tachus. But Tachus keeping calm and collected, braking at his normal braking marker, you know, braking at his normal braking marker, and able to defend the position for now, but goes a little bit deep. But GG does follow in pursuit of that, and Brizzen starting to close that gap down, but James unfortunately starting to fall backwards, so he's struggling with pace quite a bit. As we see Viper strikes as well, Mav going in it for the fight, and these two only separated by 4 to 5 tenths of a second. But we'll see if they can improve and change where they are on track, as Mav and Joe both following the same line there as we make our way into the tricky corners of turns 11, 12, and then towards 13 very, very shortly. The tricky hairpin. Who's going to be late on the brakes? Who's going to go for that move? None of them at the moment. I mean, ideally, Viper needs to go for a move, as racing laps are starting to run out here at Singapore, but he just can't get close enough. Can't get close enough. It's Brizzen almost within a second, and now is within a second, so we could have a cheeky fight here for the top 3. That could get a bit spicy and also a little bit interesting, so keep your eyes peeled for that one, as that Viper isn't far off the back of Mav now, making their way out the final corner, as Mav is actually thinking of boxing. A bit of a strange dummy call there for Mav to attempt to do some sort of, you know, smart move, but it didn't work because Viper has stayed out. But let's see, on board of these two, as the top 2 are in a race of their own, and GOVEE on a race in a race of his own, gone, disappeared. 3.3 is the gap, and suffocating, going backwards instead of forwards, isn't able to match the same pace as Robin McQueen at this moment. But yeah, like I said, on board of Viper now, 5 tenths is the gap. He is closing roughly, but isn't closing enough. Needs Mav to make a mistake, but I believe Viper is a little bit better than Mav, down in sector 2 and I want to say 3. We'll just keep our eyes peeled to see what happens there. Out of turn number 9 now, towards turn number 10. We're going to come back to these two in a mo, as we've got the top 5, 4th and 3rd. Third place about to try and pull away here, as Brizzen is literally on the gearbox of GG Land. GG Land obviously trying to get past to choose for that final podium position, but Brizzen thinking I could probably get one here as well. So let's see who will come out on top. Not too sure. So exciting things happen here at Phoenix. We'd love to see it. So let's see what happens as they make their way out of turn number 17 and 18 and 19. And a 3-second time penalty going out to Max. GG all over the road. Just go Squirmish. Is he in the wall? Is he off? He's got a broken front wing. Somehow to keep his car in one piece. A broken front wing though. That isn't ideal. And that could be him out of contention for that podium. It's game on then for Brisen and to Juice, as GG Land is now going to struggle for pace, because once you've got a broken front wing, wet conditions and a broken wing does not mix whatsoever. So as we make our way into sector 2, and especially that hairpin of sector 3, or you could say sector 2, sorry, GG Land is really going to struggle in these next few corners. Start to struggle a lot, which could actually help out James Mustang if he keeps it nice and clean and no mistakes. As we see these two in a league of their own, in a mind of their own, fighting for P7, both within the points, which is quite nice. I'll be happy with that, as we have our third retirement of this race. 3 drivers out, 1 DSQ, 2 DNFs, and Viper trying to do what he can to put the pressure on Mr. Mav himself. Just can't get the exits that Mav's getting. He's keeping it nicely calm and collected. But, I say but, what's also interesting here is even though GG's got front wing damage, somehow, I don't know how he's doing this, but he's managing to keep with the top 2 for P3, which is just insane. That is crazy. I did not expect that. And also, what's also crazy is that I believe Tatus is starting to close that gap down on Suffocating. The gap is around about 2.1 of a second, was 1.9. Is Tatus going to be able to do the impossible and the unbelievable, and maybe, just maybe, get Suffocating before the end of the sprint race? As we're trying to make our way down to turn number 1, Brisen thinking for a cheeky move up the inside, was close enough, but didn't want to risk a dive and then make contact, and then that could be game over, race over. Brisen though, 0.2 of a second right behind Tatus here for P number 3 as we make our way out of turn number 5 and then all the way down to turn number 6 and 7. Brisen gets that toe. He's going to pull out to the, I was going to say left-hand side, but decides not to go for the move. And what's interesting, with 2 more laps, you could say, of racing to go, they are really starting to close down on Suffocating, because that gap is around about 1.9. So Suffocating probably starting to struggle with the rears, as those tyres will be burning. Brisen, is he going to try and go for a move here at turn number 10? Oh my gosh, he is. He's trying to go for a move at turn 10, but backs off. And Tatus will still have that P3 in his sights for now. In turns 11, 12, and 13, the hairpin now. If they could get a really good exit, they could be getting close to Suffocating, but they have lost quite a lot of time scrapping down in turns 10 and 11. Yellow flags once again. I'm not too sure who that is. That's probably one of the drivers right at the back of the grids. But yeah, crazy scenes here at Singapore. It's still going on. Brisen isn't giving up this podium without a fight. Give me a second. Yeah, it's absolutely crazy. Brisen though, oh, he's trying to look for a move down at turn number 1, 2, and 3, but just can't get. I wouldn't say close enough. He's close enough, but I don't think he has the confidence on the brakes to go for that P3. So we'll see what happens on the run down to turn number 7 and 6, but penultimate lap of the race. After this, 1 more lap to go. Can Brisen get that podium? And looking down the rest of the grid, Viper, we missed the overtake for P7. They're running away now. as Mav is quite far behind. He's had a bit of a moment somewhere, and that's definitely not ideal, but we put our main focus not to P1 and P2, but to this spectacular fight of Brisen trying to get a podium, and somehow, I don't get it, but GG Land with front wing damage on whatever side, I believe it's the left side winglet. I don't know how he's doing it, but he's able to keep the top two, which is absolutely crazy. I mean, he is quite a quick driver within the F1 game, and they do call him the GOAT. So this is probably a GOAT drive now from GG. Probably got the wing damage on purpose to try and make it a challenge, shall we say. So who knows, as Brisen started to close in, same with GG, but does get a bit squiggly, and Brisen loses the car. But was that contact between GG Land and Brisen, as GG, respectful sportsmanship there, does hand back the position to Brisen, but involving that contact, Brisen is not going to be challenging for that P3 anytime soon, because the gap is around about 2.9 of a second. So after Choose just brings us home with no mistakes and no major issues, he'll be on for a P3 here. But Brisen, 2.4 the gap is now, really closed down on the exit of turn 19, number 19. So it may not be over yet. It may not be over, but we'll see what happens. But our closest battle is with P4 and P5. But maybe, just maybe, Brisen could get P3 here. The gap is only 2 seconds. He is rapidly closing in on Tatus. So Tatus probably starting to struggle with his tyres. But Brisen, I don't know how he's doing it, but he's finding life on those tyres, finding momentum, and he's pushing like hell in these conditions. He's got to make a good couple of corners, because he is running out of opportunities to get this podium on the top spot. The gap is around about 1.8 of a second. He's probably hoping that Tatus will make some sort of mistake maybe, but we'll see what happens. Tatus really starting to fall backwards, and Brisen really on the charge and starting to close in. But this is an exciting end to this race, because it's not over yet until Tatus says it's over. Because look, there's Brisen and there's Tatus. So if Tatus has one Larry scary moment, it could be game over. It could be game over, as someone else has retired on the last lap of racing. But we're going to turn our eyes quickly to Rob McQueen, making their way through turn number 16 and 17 towards 18 and 19. They'll win the sprint here at Singapore. We'll move to the featured race in a few moments' time. They'll cross the line, and P number 1 suffocating, coming home in a hefty P number 2, able to keep himself calm and collected and defend himself from Tatus, who will come home in P number 3. Brisen home in P number 4. GG Land in P number 5. James Mustang coming home in P number 6. And Viper making their way through the last couple of corners, the tricky chicane, you could say, of Sector 3. He'll make his way up across the start and finish from P7. Maverick to finish in a comfortable P number 8. And then number 9 and number 10 to cross the line very shortly. One of them is Max with no front wing. Unfortunately, those two miss out of not scoring any points within the sprint. But like I say, it's just Ryan and Mav to cross the line, and then we can get the sprint done and dusted and move on over to the featured race. But that was exciting to watch. A lot of action, especially between Brisen and Tatus. Obviously, GG and Brisen having contact on lap number 11, down at turn number 14 towards 15. But to be honest, if we're going to be really honest, it was really good sportsmanship and really good respect there from GG Land to, you know what, I was in the wrong. I shouldn't have bumped Brisen there. So he backed off. He did the right thing. Probably as well to avoid a penalty, but it depends if Brisen would report that. But after that, I wouldn't say so. But Brisbane did miss out on a podium opportunity because we saw on the last lap, lap number 12, their pace towards the end was phenomenal, shall we say. Absolutely phenomenal. But that is the sprint race done and dusted. If we can have a look at the results, we'll try to have a look at the results as we get to the levitating Mr. Wobby and McQueen stepping up on the top step, getting that trophy, suffocating in the background on the P and number 2 podium. He'll be very pleased and happy with that one. Back-to-back podiums for himself and Wobby. And then as well, the lovely Tachus, I believe his first podium of the season. So he'll be very happy and delighted with that. But that is your top 3 done and dusted. There are the classifications just for the sprint race. Of course, only the top 8 scoring there for the head-to-head. But Robin McQueen setting out the fastest lap of a 1 minute 59.913. 11 points to his name. And look at that, 6.5 is the gap to P2. So he really had some really, really good pace to show, and he showed it on performance today. Suffocating P2, to choose P3, Brisbane P4, GG Land P5, James Mustang P6, P number 7 to the lovely Viper Strikes, and then to round off the points paying position is Mr. Mav down in P number 8, picking off 1 point, which I believe he'll be very, very happy with. Ah, there we go. That's a very nice and happy race now that some drivers would actually be happy with. A dry race. How about that? We get a wet sprint race here at Singapore. A wet one-shot qualifying format. And now we get a lovely dry formatted race. I ain't complaining, because we're now going to get the DRS drag reduction system rear wing open on lap number 3. So 17 laps to go ahead here at Singapore. It should be hopefully a little bit easier for the drivers to make their way around Singapore now. No rain to worry about as the 5 red lights go out here for the featured race here at Singapore. Round number 2, a drive-through penalty, a jump start for Jackson Games. That's definitely not ideal for him. It's not been off the best weekend for him here at Singapore. Brisbane trying to go for that P number 1 spot so far, but Tachus trying to deny that. Both wheel to wheel, I believe. Still both wheel to wheel. Bit of contact there. Wheel banging. And I believe that's to choose on the soft tyre. And on the super soft is Brisbane. And a bit of a rear end touch there between Suffocating and Tachus, I believe that was. Someone tumbling down the order. And I believe that is going to be our championship leader, Wobby McQueen, down in P13. And GG Land as well, down in P14. That is not an ideal start for them two. They have got a lot of work ahead of them to do now. There's see moves happening in the background, and I believe that was Notor trying to go for an interesting move actually around the outside now of James Mustang. Is he going to try and get that P number 6? Never mind, I'm looking at the wrong people. We're fighting for P number 7 and P number 8 here, and that's Max getting up onto P number 7 and getting past not all for that P number 7 position, which isn't too bad. No, someone who's trying to go for a move up the inside, and that's going to be Ryan trying to go for that P number 8, and they get the move done and dusted. Someone is ghosted on track, and I believe that is Philip, who did leave the session. There might have been a bit of frustrated, shall we say, with that DSQ in the sprint, so that's quite unfortunate, but those things happen. And that is your top 10 so far, and someone going way too deep, and I'm not too sure what that is. It looked like someone had no wing. No wing whatsoever. Ah, it's Wobby McQueen. Wobby McQueen has got no front wing on that car. That could be race over. He needs a safety car. He needs a safety car to happen now here at Singapore, and that could be possible. Suffocating, trying to go around the outside here for P number 2, and he gets the move done on Chichus. Now the gap has got to close to Brizzen, who's on the set of super soft tyres, which won't last forever. It's 3.5, but Chichus with that toe, with that slip, down to turn number 7, late on the brakes, up the inside, and secures that spot for now. Bit of contact though between Suffocating and Tatus. Mav trying to get involved in the scrap. Bit of contact as Mav also in the wall, and now Viper out of nowhere in this battle within the top 4, gets around Mav, and Mav could have a bit of wing damage there, and that could be going to the stewards later on. It depends what could be happening there. Wowzers, what an intense start for the top 5, or shall we say our championship leader will not be happy, because look how far back he is, basically at the back of the grid, nowhere near anybody else, literally nowhere near. So there could be an ongoing investigation after this race. There could be a lot of reports to go on here, and someone is in the wall, and that's P number 12, but they are going once again GG land around the outside. Actually a lovely move there which just glimpsely caught for P number 8, getting past Ryan. Lovely stuff there. Next on his list is Max, right ahead of him. We're going to keep on board with GG land, who just tapped the rear end of Max there. Probably wasn't expecting to see Max break a little bit early, but Max really holding up GG here, which isn't really gonna help him out. And we just saw as there as well that I believe it all contact, and Viper I believe punted to choose round. Definitely not ideal. So a lot of carnage happening here at Singapore for the featured race. So they just need to calm down. It's only lap number 3 out of 17. They just need to tone down and chill out, because everything is going on here and it's absolutely crazy. But yeah, what do we say except we love the carnage, we love to see drama, and at Singapore is really bringing the drama tonight as we see GG trying ever so hard to get past Max, and into the back goes Ryan. GG off track, and once again has a front wing damage to his name. Oh, but with a very good exit, he could get the move done here for P number 17. Does it as well. Ryan trying to, you know, get involved and try and take another position, but didn't have the momentum and did back out of it quite early on, so he'll still be stuck down in P number 9. But GG up to P7. Next on this list is P number 6, but the gap is 9.9 as he does clip the wall there. Hopefully that isn't more damage to his name for that front wing, as Max tumbles down the order to P number 11. So having an awful hairpin at turn number 13. Like I keep saying, absolute carnage here at Singapore. Say you now, Mr. Flynn ain't feeling well as 145.550 going out to Brisbane, the fastest lap on the super soft tyres. Like I said, Mr. Flynn not feeling 110% today with DRS activated. I may have no voice. My voice may be gone by tomorrow, so yeah, we'll see what happens. Absolute carnage. DRS activated though, drivers get a little bit more top speed and performance out of their cars. Who's within a second and who is close? The two Prema cars are quite close to each other. As Mr. Choose, Mr. Mav trying to close in on Viper, who's currently sitting in P3, and the gap between himself and P2 is around about 1.6 of a second. But Choose looking like the faster Prema, and Mav, if he's thinking about the constructors here, may just think, you know what, I may let my teammate by here to get up the field a little bit more. And Suffocating in P2, and it's starting to run away and probably trying to get as best as he can and close down that gap to Brisbane, who's in that P number 1 spot for now, as we see two drivers make their way into the pit lane and on pit exit. And that's Robin McQueen now up into P number 11 on a set of the super soft tyres. I don't think they're going to last to the end of this race, so he may have to box again, but he may, just may, be hoping for a safety car. As we see the two Prema cars, I believe, switching for position to choose now up into that primary spot of P number 4. He's going to try and close down on Viper Strikes. what kind of opportunity he can make on the car ahead. James Mustang as well now getting involved with the scrap for the top 6. Not top 6, but P6 to P3 is what we're roughly saying here. Mav is now starting to close in on his teammates. So to choose not getting the best exit out of turn number 19 down to turn number 1, and is Viper potentially attempting to break the DRS gap to a second, but unfortunately is not able to extend it. So let's go on board with to choose and see what their straight line speed is like. It doesn't look too powerful, if I say so myself. So Viper, if he keeps calm and collected, could be stationary and could be fine here. Right, what else we got going on? We've got Philip down in P number 9, and he's not in this race. He has left the session, unfortunately. I keep forgetting that, but he is starting to close in on Ryan. Ryan not having a great race down in P number 8, but still within the points. So if you're within the points, I'd be happy to. Put it that way. I'll be happy to, because trust me, Mr. Flynn has tried driving these F2 cars, and I'm absolutely rubbish. But what's also crucial is that James Mustang right on the gearbox here, Mav, and he did crucially lose DRS to choose for a moment there, but maybe to choose just backed off a little bit to help Mav out here to get the DRS to keep himself in the fight for that P4, as to choose may try and go for that P3 strike, but we'll see what happens. But Mav struggling to keep within a second, struggling to. Could this be it? Could this be over? Could it be done and dusted? Could James get P5 on lap number 6 now? Let's see what happens on board with James. Spicy things brewing here at Singapore. Oh, Mav going way too deep there and has compromised his exit. James Mustang 4 tenths behind right now, but his straight line speed doesn't seem powerful, so he's okay for now. To choose starting to run off in the horizon after Viper for that P3. So things starting to get interesting, and scraps are about to unfold and happen. As we see, Rob McQueen down in P number 12 on the set of super soft tyres. Obviously had an unfortunate collision contact on lap number 1, I believe. And yeah, those two going at it for P number 11. Rob McQueen really hoping that he'll get a safety car. Hopefully this race, it's going to be a big sting in the heart for points opportunity wise. Brisbane in a race of his own, in a league of his own. The gap is 7.705 of a second. He's chilling. Rob McQueen up into P11, and 37.8 is the gap ahead of him for P10. So Rob McQueen, yeah, not ideal. I do feel sorry for him. Got involved in some unfortunate contact, I believe, and that sends him tumbling down the order. Yeah, sad times, sad times. James Mustang not on the gearbox of Mav, shall we say, but is actually closing in. So don't count him out at this moment in time, because he has really closed in with Mav. Mav once again just going a little bit wide, compromising his exit, and James with that toe and that DRS, bit a bit more performance, top speed, but is it close enough to go for that move yet? Same with to choose, getting closer and closer and closer, but just doesn't have speed to compete, to commit. So yeah, our battles brewing at the moment is P5, you know, P5 and P6, and then P4 and P3, because everyone else, like I say, is just in a league of their own. So, whilst they're in a league of their own, nothing happening just yet. I thought a move was about to brew, but it didn't. Tyres. Lap age, everyone on a set of softs, quite a bunch of fielders, and never mind, someone going for a move, and that is to choose. Actually going to go for a move, 4P3 this race. Viper, though, late on the brakes. Oh, that was very close to contact there, but Viper able to back out and bail, and may just stick onto the back of to choose here, and try and open that gap a little bit more to Math behind. We'll see what Viper's pace is like. We'll see what it's like. But as that was a lovely overtake there for Tachus, but very, very close to contact. And I did get a little bit scared, so I am glad that Viper slammed right on those brakes. Yeah, let's have a look at tyres. So tyres, everybody on a set of softs, 7 laps remaining. Or not remaining, but 7 laps on those tyres. Some drivers on the set of the super softs, like Brizzen, 7 laps. Those are going to be fading and dying by now. We've got a yellow flag. Someone's in the wall, I believe, at turn number 13, but is getting moving again. But one McQueen, crucially, in P number 11, and 5 laps on a set of the super softs. Like I keep saying, he needs a safety car. That's the only way he'll get back in this race. Max as well, having a problem at turn number 13. Is moving once again. So some drivers struggling, especially at that hairpin. I always struggle at Singapore with that hairpin because I just lose the car. I'm guessing I'm just rubbish, chat. I think I'm just rubbish at F2 cars. And F1 especially. Oh, hello. Oh, could James get the ultimate switcheroo with DRS activator? Mav may just lose out to this one. Is defending. Will have to defend and go a little bit deeper into the corner. But Mav is still ahead. The Mavilus Mav, as I'm going to call him now. Excellent defense. And keeping James Mustang at bay here as Brizzen makes their way and peels into the pit lane. He reacts. Indeed he does. On a set of... Well, that's not Brizzen, never mind. We're on board with the wrong person. I was confused. Like, honestly, the super softs. They just did the super softs. A 5-second time penalty for crossing the pit exit line, going out to Chin. I believe that's how you say the name. And that's not ideal for them. So that's a very big penalty. 5 seconds, but they are down in P13. So they won't be happy with that penalty, but it doesn't affect their race much because they are the last driver on the grid. So, yeah, not ideal and not optimal. James Mustang, however, might get confused by that car. Oh, bit of a rear love tap between them two. And Ryan and Nottor going at it for that P number 8. Don't worry, chat. I am here. I am here. I am alive. I'm just trying to, blow my nose at the same time because, you guys, you don't need to hear me insanely blow my nose. As Brizzen now making a move up into P6 ahead of GG Land on a set of fresh, soft tyres. He'll be flying through the field now. Suffocating has responded and does go into the pit lane. But I believe our net race leader will be Brizzen because they will obviously still take the lead in this race. James as well does react. He's reacted a little bit, I would say early, at a good time here because due to his pace, he could get ahead of Mav. Hence, Mav has really got to put in a good lap now as Brizzen way ahead of the field and he'll be in that P1 in no time unless he makes a major mistake. GG Land still staying out and there we go. Suffocating on a set of the super soft tyres. If he keeps it together, it takes home P2. I believe Will he take lead of the Drivers' Championship? I'm not too sure. I have to come back to that, but I believe he won't. As Wobby's won the race with the faster lap, he got 11 points, so I could be wrong. Might be wrong, actually. Yeah, I might be wrong. Yeah, yellow flags are blipping up left, right, and centre as Viper. Right on the gearbox there to choose. These two still together. Not making any major problems, major issues. Not really. But they're in DRS. I'm just chilling. I would say DRS chicken, but not on the last lap of racing or nowhere near yet, so you can't really call it DRS chicken. As Rob McQueen once again is in the pits. And are they changing to a set of another tyres? I believe they have. I think that's another set of the super soft tyre. Really is a hurtful race for them as to choose makes their way to pit lane, and Mav stays out another lap as Viper as well responds into the pits. Brisen doing what he does best, flying on those tyres, chilling. They're comfortable P2, but your net leader in this race, suffocating in P6, but your net P2, and I believe someone else who was in P3. I can't remember who it was. I believe it was Chachus. Yeah, Chachus was in P3, P4. Yeah, P4 Chachus, Viper P5, but James, crucially actually, forgot about James in this picture frame here. Tried to undercut Viper and Chachus, who are on the colder but lap fresher tyre. 2.1 is the gap, but as we know, the super softs don't take long to warm up, and Viper having that DRS may just keep him at bay and keep James Mustang out of that crucial in that second to get the DRS. But yeah, yet to pit is Mr. Mav on 10 laps on those softs, and P number 7, but they're not in this race, so the AI will box when they want to. Mr. Mav surely got to be in this remaining lap. Got to be in this lap. I can't see him staying out another lap. There's just no point. Hurting his own race, and at this rate, I believe James Mustang has undercutted him, and he's staying out another lap. So at this rate, James Mustang will be ahead of Mav. So he'll be in calculations. BMP5 as Brisen, a 145.366. Absolutely flying on those soft tyres, but suffocating a 144.788. So almost a second quicker. Almost. Well, we could say roughly a second quicker than Brisen. Wow, that is crazy. That is crazy with Viper. Crucially, Viper has dropped out of a second, but does get back in it. But crucially, did he get the DRS? I believe he made it to the white line within a second, just in time. Does get the DRS. He is good. He is safe for now. So he'll start to close up to the rear wing of Chachus. And Mr. Mav does, unfortunately, not surprised, because obviously Brisen. Oh! Brisen and Mav almost, you could say, almost coming together there. Mav does take off to the runoff at turn number 10. But yeah, Mav, it's weird why he's staying out. If we would have boxed by now to try and cover off the undercut attempt from James Mustang, but that is out the window, I'd say now. That is out the window. That is done and dusted. And that James will definitely most likely be ahead of Mav when he boxes. But yeah, those two, Brisen and Mav, almost coming together at turn 10. But it was kind of a losing battle between Mav and Brisen. It wasn't going to be a spectacular battle, as we hoped it possibly could have been. But Rob McQueen, top 10, scoring 2 points as he has the fastest lap of the race. And Mav now finally makes his way into the pit lane. So Suffocating will take home a P2 slot for now if he could hold on to the end of this race. A 1:44.547 responding and taking a point away from Wobbie. And if he keeps it that way, Wobbie McQueen heading home this weekend with only 12 points scored. And there it is. Juice and Viper make it through. Where's James? Where's Mav? Still in the box. James Mustang well ahead of Mav there for that P5. Solid effort by James. I'll be very happy with that. But Viper still staying with Juice in that DRS window. But good old classic Viper has a 3-second time penalty to his name. Someone has retired on track. And that doesn't bring out a safety car. So, my hindrance is maybe suggesting that safety car has been turned off. Is what I'm thinking. Because we've had 2 retirements, 2 crashes on track. I only mean a safety car, but I believe it's been turned off. As it's a street circuit. And our street circuits very tight, very close, as we hear. Mav, I believe, clattered the wall there. Can result in a lot of retirements, so that's probably why it might have been disabled. Mr. Wobbie McQueen setting the fastest lap, I believe it was, as I'm looking at the wrong thing here. We want fastest lap of 1:44.359. Goes back to him, responding. And that'll be an extra point for himself. Again, 2 points scoring this race in the feature. And now we've got some wheel-to-wheel action here between Mav and the GG Land. GG Land going very late on the brakes. Locking up a little bit as we see Mav trying to go for the switchback on the exit of turn number 14. But now on the run. Down to 16 and 17. Blitzing through 15. 16 and 17 now. Mav on the inside. GG on the outside. GG... going off track there. That could have been a track limit warning. Those two going side by side as well through 18 and 19. Mav finding a way through into P6. GG in that P7, but has the DRS crucially at turns 1, 2 and 3. GG might find himself flying by a Mav on the exit at turn number 5 with that rear wing open. Surprisingly, our closest battle on track. Oh, bit of a drift there as the rears must be giving up on the RAT or ART, shall we say, car there. But GG tucking in to the rear wing on Mav just for now for that hopefully P6 position. Viper as well. Starting to close in as you see the rear wing from that camera shot. Lovely angle there of that opening up. And Viper just closing in ever so slightly a little bit more as we go back on board with these two. Getting really, really close. Mav going a little bit deep there, which allows GG not to close up much towards the back of him, but just a little bit. As we head on to lap number 15, Brisen flying 4.9 is the gap from P1 and P2. Unless Brisen makes no mistakes, he'll take the win. If he makes a crucial mistake and somehow messes up his front wing and goes really, really slowly, the suffocating could be in contention for a win here. And that's probably what he's hoping for. Wobbie McQueen, not a great race for him today. Had a really good sprint, I'll admit that, and a decent qualifying, but having that unfortunate contact within, you know, race, I think he'll be a little bit gutted, and he may go to the stewards and report maybe a driver or two, but we'll see what happens with that. And surprisingly, excuse me, suffocating with a 3-second time penalty, but to choose is nowhere near to respond for that P2, shall we say. 9.4 is the gap. So suffocating should be safe if they don't make a crucial error of any more time penalty, shall we say. GG Land still on the gearbox here of Mav, chasing down for that P number 6 position. Viper just chilling, just staying with Tachus for now, as we're about to move on board with the penultimate lap of this race very, very shortly. Lap number 16 about to approach us as Brisen crosses the line and begins lap number 16. These two still on lap number 15, but then they'll cross the line to start lap number 16, and they're only separated around about half a second. But look at that. Look at that, a superb exit by Viper, showing the different grip levels there is absolutely crazy, and the confidence as well the drivers have in these cars is absolutely crazy. Because look at this, Viper 0.3 of a second, could make it 0.2, could make it a lunge potentially into P3, depends on his exit. He's 0.3, 0.2, gets that rear wing open, riding on board with Viper. He's closing, he's looking to the left hand side now, but early on the brakes, not thinking of going for the move. Tachus having a bit of a squiggly moment, and his car swaying left and right, but Tachus staying ahead for now. But even if Viper got ahead of Tachus for that P3, he's got a 3-second time penalty, and there's no way, no chance he would make up 3 seconds if he was in P3, unless Tachus made a massive error. But it looks like it's going in the way to Tachus so far, as GG has lost DRS to the wonderful Mr. Marvelous Mav. So GG may miss out on getting a P6 finish here, and Mav, if he keeps his calm and collected, could be on for a good points paying position. A P6, not bad, as oh my goodness, there we just saw GG go absolutely way too deep at turn number 11. That was crazy. I thought he was about to DNF. I'd have been quite upset if he DNF, because GG is the GOAT of F1, I'd say, in my opinion. But like I said, I would have been very upset if he just DNF'd on the last lap, or penultimate lap, as we get going with the last lap of this race. And the gap between Suffocating and Brisen is 2.3 of a second, now 2.2. Brisen lost a lot of time somewhere, and Suffocating really closing in, but won't be able to close in enough, I don't believe, as this is the last lap. So Brisen keeps it nice and tidy and keeps it calm and collected. He'll be on for a good win here at Singapore, which I believe he will be delighted with. Right then, on board with Viper, 0.4 of a second, not able to get the move done of the juice. Brisen though, really going slowly. Has he clipped the wall somewhere? Not too sure, but it's 1.7. But Brisen, oh, he doesn't have a, he's missing a winglet. He's missing his left winglet, but it does not matter, because the line very shortly for Brisen is going to come rather sooner than later than he needs right now. Brisen making his way out of turn number 16 towards 17, and then 18 and 19 to approach us for the end of a feature, the end of round number 2 here at Singapore. He takes the win. Bravo, bravo. Good race from Brisen. Suffocating once again, taking home a lovely P2. Back-to-back podiums once again, as it was like in the sprint race as well. Very good points for him today. Viper P4, Brisen P3, taking the final podium spot position. James comes home in a lovely P5 after an excellent undercut from Mr. Mav. And Mav coming home in P6, able to fend off and keep GG Land at bay and behind. GG will come home in a wonderful P number 7. And then we've got Philip, and a little bit of a spicy battle going on between AI and an actual driver who was looking for a move into the hairpin actually at turn number 13. And if they get the momentum and get the exit, which they do, they'll take home a lovely P8. And Wobbin McQueen also actually getting involved in this action. And with a 3-second time penalty, will actually bop down the P10. But I don't think he will, because the driver's not in. The driver who's behind him won't count, so it'll be a P9 finish for Wobbin McQueen himself. But 2 more drivers across the line, get done and dusted. You'll have to see it here at Phoenix. And that was a lovely end to the sprint. A lovely way to conclude the evening, shall we say. We'd love to see it, chat. There we go. There we go. Brizzen, driver of the day. I've got to go Brizzen because he was dominant. He was superb. Absolutely fantastic. There are your top three. Brizzen, P number 1 on the podium, loving the champagne, suffocating on that P2 step with some lovely champagne as well. And as well, we're going to bring to choose another P3 finish for him. Back-to-back podiums. He'll be happy with some champagne as well as they celebrate their podium positions. We're going to skip on. No, we're going to skip to the classification for the featured race. Brizzen taking home a wonderful 25 points, suffocating taking home 18 points, and then Tachus rounding off the final top 3 podium position with 15 points, and then it's Viper down in P4, James in P5, Maverick in P6, GG in P7, Notter down in P8, One McQueen P9. Not a great race for him. He will not be happy with what on earth happened in the featured race, so he might be getting some stewards to look at that one. And Philip down in P10, the final points paying position. And then we have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 DNFs this race, and that is that, done and dusted. Thank you, GG. I do appreciate it. It's been a while, but the first round number 1, the comms didn't go so great, but I think round number 2, the comms were great. For myself as well. Me saying that makes me feel like I did a good job this evening. Case as well, we had a red flag, but we got it sorted nice and quickly. But yeah, there we go, chat. We are done and dusted. We're going to round up there. Thank you so much for watching. And if you want to be part of the F2 Carnage, then make sure to join Phoenix SimSport today. Discord link down below. Get the F2 role involved. Get the F123 involved as well. Role as well. If you want to get involved with the F123 action on a Sunday or F2 on a Friday. And do not worry, we will be back live tomorrow with the wonderful Altosis for some lovely ACC action. Join us for an hour at Imola in very wet and treacherous conditions. And that is all from me, Mr. Flynn. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.